Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network. All right, guys, I had to go find something I wanted to show my next guest. As you know, it is the Christine Gosse show from Lavender Lane, and I hold in my hand Miss Gosse. This is a citrine.
Yes.
This is citrine, yes, and it stays with me, and I'm very excited today. First, I'm sorry, I'm being rude because we have a very special guest, Christine Gosse, Lavender Lane PTW. Why don't you tell us a little bit about what you do, and then introduce our special guest today?
You bet, Casey. Thanks. I'm Christine Gosse. I'm a physiotherapist and Reiki master, founder of Lavender Lane Wellness Center in Waterloo, Ontario, and we integrate healthcare and holistic and bring it together so that we treat the whole person, mind, body, and spirit. And today I've got my special friend here, Nancy Bruce. She's amazing.
Nancy.
Hello.
And Nancy is an emotional freedom technique practitioner, a life coach, and she's able to tap into so many aspects of life. So weight loss and the emotional blockers behind that, issues with finances, and she has a wonderful program called Tapping into Wealth, and she's going to show us some of those techniques today.
That's awesome. Nancy, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Hey,
Thank you for having me.
Can you tell us, first of all, how did you get to work with Christine Gosse?
Oh man, that goes back many years ago. I went in, I was looking for space to work in a clinic, and I went in and met her. And I think we did some tapping already in that very first interview. And
she was like
and you clicked right away?
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, I think she gave me the contract right then and there.
I'm like, done.
Yes, this a great fit for this amazing Lavender Lane, which has everything. In case you guys don't know, I mean, it's got every modality for your health holistically. And Nancy, can you tell me how you got into this type of helping people in the way that you do? I mean, how did you know that you had this gift to be able to bring people up?
Actually, it started when my son was diagnosed with autism, and he was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. And I don't know about it. In Canada, there's not a lot of help for kids on the spectrum or families with kids on the spectrum. Everything seems to be for the person diagnosed with autism and not necessarily for the family. And I stumbled across this modality called EFT, and emotional freedom technique. And I thought, what the heck? I've got nothing to lose by doing this, because at that point I was desperate for my son, and I thought anything I can do, I'll do it, especially if it's something I can do. So I discovered this modality, and I just started tapping away, and I noticed, of course, changes in me, but what was astounding to me was the changes that I saw in him, and how connected him and I were. So if he was up in his bedroom working with a therapist, for instance, and I was always listening in with a monitor because I would give feedback or whatnot, and I could hear if a session wasn't going so well, and I would be like, okay, what's going on with me? And I'd start doing some tapping around my frustration or my fears or my anger and whatnot. And what was amazing is the whole session would turn around for my son and the therapist.
Wow.
So by me working on me, it had that ripple effect on everybody else. So it became my true passion, and I've just continued to dig deeper and deeper and deeper into, hidden traumas, core beliefs, all of those different triggers, that clear those out, and there's just nothing there anymore.
Wow, that's amazing. I mean, I can tell you because my little cousin Kelsey, I miss her a lot, but she was on the spectrum. She was nonverbal, and I knew what it did to my aunt and my uncle, and if you could speak on that. I mean, it's not an easy thing, especially when you're not getting all the help, right?
No, it's not an easy thing at all. And I think as human beings, I automatically went into what's wrong with me as a mom.
Oh,
And people are judging me as a mom, and I'm not good enough as a mom. And why can't I calm my child who was throwing fits all the time, basically beating me and my daughter up because he was so frustrated. And he couldn't talk. He didn't start talking until he was 4 years of age. I was very isolated. I was judging myself. I was embarrassed to go out in public because I actually had people handing me business cards for like, this is how you discipline your child and stuff like that. And it's like, no, he's on the spectrum. And so it really affected me to the core. It made me feel stupid, made me feel like like a terrible mom. And of course, here I am trying to do anything to love my son, and still getting judgment.
wow. So this is a godsend when you found out about this,
Yeah.
this modality, this information. So that's really awesome. Hopefully you can do the same thing today, that happened to you, right?
Yes, absolutely. I hope so too. So it's made me dive into, I've also struggled with weight my entire life. So I really dove into, weight loss techniques and EFT, and also the tapping into wealth and being good enough and worthy and all of that stuff to dig deeper.
So this exercise is not just, but it's so important for anyone on the spectrum, or knows someone on the spectrum, working with someone on the spectrum. But this is for everybody, because we're going to be tapping into, right, Christine, we're going to be tapping into financial and
Yes.
just our best life. Can you explain a little bit
Yes,
more about that part?
EFT can be used to clear any kind of limiting belief or unconscious blocker to anything good coming into your life. Like, it's amazing. Nancy's son is starting college. It's just like so
That's awesome.
So
That's
awesome.
And we were told that he would never talk.
Exactly.
Incredible.
Yeah.
So,
Incredible.
so I am always one to say, you can tell me that, but we're going to try everything holistic plus the medical, put it all together, and then the outcomes are phenomenal. When you add the energy work to the medical, to the counseling, to the therapies, it just is phenomenal.
You guys have seen miracles.
We have.
Yeah.
With children.
It's amazing how the beliefs and traumas just, they keep us stuck. And when we can blow past those beliefs and those traumas, we can really do anything.
Good point. Good point. So now, when we go to Lavender Lane PTW, that's the website, which is lavenderlaneptw.ca. All right, you can get more information there. Now, you guys will both work with a client together sometimes?
It depends on the situation. Often, like someone may start with me with Reiki. We get to a certain point and I go, oh, this needs to go deeper. And then Nancy is that person who can get to that inner child, get to that trauma and clear it, and really quickly and effectively. And then we can move on, and vice versa. So we're able to bounce off each other's strengths, and we both come from different perspectives, but both of us were brought to our healing work through our children.
Oh, okay. All right. Awesome. So let's learn more about this this tapping. Let me go to Nancy Bruce to start. I guess maybe you want to tell us a little bit about what we're going to experience here, and what this is going to be about. It's very exciting.
Okay. So first of all, if I was to work with a client, we would actually do like several sessions together. Okay, because we have to look at our inner child. We have to look at, where did these beliefs come from, or why am I feeling a certain way? And I have to trigger the people, because they're subconscious blockers.
I'm sorry if I can interrupt. Can you go back and tell us what that means when you say you have to trigger?
I'm going to show you in a bit.
Oh, okay. All right. I just, in case people
okay.
don't follow along. That's why I stopped.
Absolutely. Thank you for asking, but I am going to trigger you in a bit.
Okay.
I forget what I was saying. Anyways, I would work with people in several sessions, because we want to look under every little stone. And there's a lot of, it's amazing what we absorb as kids. It's amazing the stories that we tell ourselves as kids, and we make it up. And it's even amazing what silence tells us. So when our parents aren't responding the way that we want them to, or they're not responding to us, it still tells us something about us, and we form that into a belief.
Okay.
Our parents' actions, that also attributes to us forming beliefs, right? Because, okay, well, this is normal, right? So we want to look at all of that stuff. So what I would really like to do is, one of the things that I like to do with people is to really trigger where they are with their income. So I go over 5 different types of money, which would be in one of our sessions. But one that I find really, really intriguing is I have people write down, basically their income right now. And they look at their income right now. It's like, okay, what would you like your income to be? And pay attention to your emotions and what happens to your body when you write down what you would like your income to be. And, it starts to raise up emotions, and you can, sometimes you can start to feel your body contract and just go, oh, that sounds like a lot of money, or that feels like a lot of money. And then I'll ask people to double that amount. So Casey, I'd like to actually have you do that. Write down on a piece of paper the amount of money you're making.
Well,
Tell us.
how realistic do I have to be? Because of course, everyone wants to, how much money do you want? Of course, everyone wants a couple $1 billion.
Absolutely. That's okay.
Go bigger.
Start with, what your income is right now, and what kind of emotions come up with that. Is it enough? Am I enough? So if it's not enough, then that questions, am I enough? So you can automatically start to feel immediately how that triggers your nervous system. People might think, well, I'm worth more than that. Okay, maybe you are worth more than that. So why aren't you making more than that? Another trigger of the nervous system, right? Now I'd like you to write down how much you'd like to make per year. And it doesn't have to be like, I'm not going for billions yet, but I want you to pay attention to what type of emotions come up with, this is how much I'd like to make. And what type of emotions happen, Casey? There's going to be some excitement. I get that. But because it's like, oh yeah, if I could make that much money, that would be like, oh yeah. But what is the negative under that? I don't like to say this, but I do have to be the negative Nancy when I'm actually looking for these triggers. But what are some emotions and thoughts that come up?
So for the first one, it's happy and it's comfortable. And then the second one would be what you want to make. And I didn't hold back. I went for billions, right? And that brings a sense of kind of
impossible.
It's something's gonna have to happen that normally you really have to luck out or something, because as comfortable and happy as I am, to be a billionaire, there's got to be a stock that comes in. There's got to be something, that it normally doesn't happen. So there's a lot of kind of not indifferences, a lot of wonder, enthusiasm in a way, and skepticism.
Not really connected to that amount, right?
Got it. That's the best way to say it. Yeah.
Yeah, that's even more than a pipe dream.
Yeah. But you said think big, so I did.
Yeah. Okay. So if the person wouldn't have, if the person didn't go that big, say somebody is right now making, I'm going to go small and say they're making, you know, not small. I'm going to go with, say they're making $50,000 a year.
Okay.
And then I would say, okay, how much would you like to make per year? And they would say, well, you know, I'd like to make $100,000 a year. And they can start to feel the, how am I going to do that? Oh my gosh, what am I going to have to sacrifice to do that? And then I'll say, okay, now I want you to double that. And now they're going from 50,000 to 200,000, and the panic starts to set in. Because this is impossible. There is no way, no how I can make that amount of money unless I win the lottery. Like, where do I even begin from here? I've had people say, I'm at the top of my job category right now, and I can't go any higher unless I go back and get like a PhD or a master's. I'm not going to do that because that's going to take way too much money and way too much time. So you can already start to see what's stopping them.
You talk yourself out of
Those are the stories that they're telling themselves. Right? It's not necessarily truth. So you can start to understand how we're stopping ourselves with the conversation. Okay.
So how do we tap that out?
Yes. So now we want to look at those thoughts and those beliefs and tap them out of our system. Okay, so we're going to do the emotional freedom technique around this. So if you can, I'd like you just to kind of measure how impossible does it feel to make that billions of dollars on a scale of 0 to 10. Right where you are right now, how possible does it feel to be a billionaire?
I'd be right in the middle. I'd be 5.
Okay, cool. Okay, and that's your own measure. Okay, so that's great. So we're going to do the tapping points. I'm going to show you where they are. One is where the eyebrow meets the nose, and then beside the eye, and then underneath the eye, underneath the nose, right here where the crease is in your chin, and then on the collarbone, and then the thymus. Yeah. And then about 4 fingers down from your armpit, there's actually usually a tender spot. For a lot of people, it's a tender spot, and the top of your head. So I like to refer to it as the question mark, just to kind of trigger your memory of where they are, but I'm going to tap along with you. And what I want you to do is I want you to repeat after me. And of course, we're weighing in on the impossible of becoming a billionaire. Okay, we're weighing in on that. Okay, so let's start on the eye.
Is it 1 finger, 2 fingers?
Whatever I'm doing 2, but whatever, as long as you're tapping somewhere on that meridian, we're good.
Okay.
Okay. I'm looking at this number.
I'm looking at this number
that Nancy made me write down.
that Nancy made me write down.
And it feels kind of impossible.
It feels kind of impossible.
Unless there was a miracle.
Unless there's a miracle.
How am I ever going to make that much money?
How am I ever going to make that much money?
All the stories I tell myself.
All the stories I tell myself.
Just by writing down this number.
Just by writing down this number.
It feels impossible.
It feels impossible.
And if it feels impossible.
And if it feels impossible.
How is it going to be possible?
How is it going to be possible?
Something about me is saying no to that number.
Something about me is saying no to that number.
Some hidden programming is saying no.
Some hidden program is saying no.
And from there, it isn't possible.
And from there, then it isn't possible.
What if I could open myself up?
What if I could open myself up?
Miracles happen every day.
Miracles happen every day.
Miracles haven't necessarily happened to me.
Miracles haven't necessarily happened to me.
But I've seen them happen to other people.
But I have seen them happen to other people.
There are lots of people without a great education that are millionaires.
There are plenty of people without great educations that are billionaires.
There are some people that have just lucked out.
There are some people that have just lucked out.
Or so it would seem.
Or so it would seem.
Why can't it be possible for me?
Why can't it be possible for me?
I don't know. Something about this number just feels impossible.
Well, something about this number just seems impossible.
Or does it?
Or does it?
What if miracles could happen for me?
What if miracles could happen for me?
I have a lot inside of me to offer.
I have a lot inside of me to offer.
Why couldn't it be possible?
Why couldn't it be possible?
I am open to this number being possible for me.
I am open for this number to be possible for me.
Okay, let's take a deep breath in and blow it out. So let's feel that impossible now. If it was a 5 out of 10 before, how impossible does it feel? On a scale of 0 to 10, has that dropped at all?
Yeah, I'd say 2 or 3. And is there anything to it that as soon as you stopped or right before you would tell me to stop, my nose got really itchy?
Oh, that's not a coincidence. Oftentimes, I will start yawning. Sadly, sometimes I start belching when energy is shifting, and that's really not a fun one.
Okay.
I'm working with clients, I'm just like, oh,
That's okay. This is how it happens.
Or I forget to explain to people that yawning is a form of energy shifting. The scratching of the nose is a form of energy shifting. Any type of, there's so many different ways. Christine's rubbing her nose.
I know mine's itchy too.
Yeah. I get clients that as soon as I've hit the nail on the head for the subconscious belief, they're like, oh, or their head gets really itchy.
Oh, so that's common. It's happened before.
It's very common.
Yeah.
Oh, all right.
It's
Okay.
very common.
I mean, it wasn't just like a little bit. It was like, oh my God, my nose is itchy.
I need to go off screen. So you can see how long did we tap for? A minute or two?
Yeah.
If that, and we've already dropped that 2 or 3 points in you. So I work with people looking under all of those stones, trying to figure out, okay, where are you stuck in your money? And I pull out all kinds of different tricks like this, that it's like, okay, let's trigger this person. Let's see what happens to their nervous system when they start talking about income or whatever.
Wow, that's so interesting.
Yeah.
And how often will you do that with a client? Do you have to just do it once, or will you do it like once a week, once a month or something?
So I usually ask people to sign up for about 6 sessions and go from there. However, I don't want to trigger money issues with people. So I like for them.
You just want to trigger me to itch my nose.
So I like to suggest, how quickly do you want to go through this? How much do you feel that you're worth in investing in yourself? And do you think that you could figure out how to do it every 2 weeks? Do you think you could figure out how to do it weekly? And then there could be more. You're still shifting there, Casey.
Yeah, no, I just had a hiccup, so it was like you did the burping. Hey, Christine, how about like after when I just got done with a session with Nancy Bruce, and we did it together, but usually after someone's done with Nancy, will they come, and is that a good time for Reiki or for some other energy work?
It can be. We all work on different aspects of things, and if Nancy's stuck with somebody, then we'd use some Reiki to dislodge and move them forward again, and vice versa. So we're really able to work as an interdisciplinary team and come at things from different perspectives and different techniques, and it ends up being absolutely brilliant.
Yeah, I mean, that was really neat. Something different, and just telling the listeners that it was kind of it felt like a positive. It felt positive. I'll just say that.
Positive shift.
Yeah, it felt like I just spent my time doing something positive. I was new. I didn't know really what to expect, but it felt positive. If anybody wants to know what I thought out there, who's thinking about maybe working with you guys. So
and I'd like to add, Casey, that we do have to look at the negative and clear the negative before we can switch it over to positive. I am all about positive affirmations. But as Louise Hay has always said, you got to look under the carpet to clean the house.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Right? So
You
you got
need to make room for
Yeah.
the good to come in.
So when I said I was skeptic, that's what was the whole, that's what you're going to be working. That's the limiting belief because
Yes.
it can be for sure.
Okay.
But generally EFT will work as long as you're willing just to look at what am I bringing up for you, right? And just go, okay, I'll try it. And you will generally feel a shift.
So cool. Hey guys, we're at the end. So I want to thank first of all my new friend Nancy Bruce. Nancy works with Christine Gosse at Lavender Lane. But let me give you the last word here, Nancy Bruce. Anything that you want to say about your practice, about anything you want us to know, and then I'll give it to my friend Christine to close us out. But let me give you the floor right now.
You know, I'd really like for people to look at their inner child and look at this stuff so that they can fully love themselves and live life to the fullest, because it's the stories that we tell ourselves that stop us in all areas of our life.
How do we get a hold of you?
You can go to the Lavender Lane website, and I am under practitioners there. So lavenderlaneptw.ca. If anything, if it doesn't work on there for my availability, you can email me at nancy@lavenderlaneptw.com.
All right. Well, it was a pleasure to meet you, and thank you for working with me and for being so considerate and thoughtful. Christine Gosse, let me give you the last word.
Thanks, Casey. So go to lavenderlaneptw.ca. You can find all of us there. Nancy does her sessions virtually, so we can treat internationally. And it is so helpful to learn EFT and to apply it not only to wealth creation, but weight loss, anxiety, depression, anything that's bothering you. You can book a free discovery call with Nancy there. And if there's any issues, just either contact us through the contact form for scheduling, or nancy@lavenderlaneptw.ca is the email for her.
All right. I know there were people that wrote in. I'm sorry I didn't get to you, but I will hold on to it. So for Nancy Bruce and Christine Gosse, I thank you all, and we will be right back. Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Casey.
Thank you.
Are you in constant pain? Are you searching for answers?
Broadcasting from the business capital of the world, this is the Podcast Business News Network.